Okay, seeing if this is going to work this time. Hi everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here. I am going to be talking about routines, everything for a lot of people. Kids started school today, or I'm sure if you're on Facebook, you know that kids are starting school, right? Everybody's putting pictures of their kids up. Mine actually officially start tomorrow, so if you're wondering where my pictures are, they don't start till tomorrow. So, that's of course when I'll be doing the obligatory back to school pictures of my children. Anyway, but with starting school, with everything else, what I find is that there's a lot of new routine to get settled into. Activities are going to start soon. Everything sort of shifts and changes for people. We're headed into fall, so a lot of new things are coming up, right? And it feels like all of a sudden, school starts, and then pretty soon, before you know it, it is going to be the holidays, I swear, right? So it's super easy to get kind of swept up and kind of cast into, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm not sure, where I should focus, or things are up in the air. So this is, when your schedule changes, when your routine changes, what do you focus on? And it's really focusing a lot on the timing of everything, so you're not skipping things. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, really, really briefly. I just had a podcast release on protein pacing. So if you guys have not listened to that podcast, oh my gosh, you need to listen to it. Of course, subscribe to the podcast, because a lot of these podcasts that I have coming out, that have come out recently, that are coming up, oh my gosh, I get to interview some of the most amazing experts in nutrition and fitness and women's health. So exciting. So there's amazing resources out there. My book, Nutrition for Women, talking about nutrition that matches your cycle and hormones, the Female Fat Solution, is on Amazon, so you can pick that up. But also, these are some of the things that when I get to work with women, in my 12-week program one-on-one, these are the things that I get to walk through, because your life changes, right? Wouldn't it be so great if your routine was the same all the time and you were never stressed out and things wouldn't pop up and get in your way and you could just kind of get to your results? It's not really how life goes a lot of the time, It's just, it's not how it goes. So what do? You always have to have your base foundation of things you fall back on. So in the 12-week program, I talk about a meal plan, grocery list, everything else, this guidance, these really amazing tips and tools for women to use to be able to get to and maintain their healthiest self while wrangling their hormones so they stop fighting with their bodies. But this is one of the things that when we talk about protein pacing, that is a key foundational thing to Team Protein, hashtag Team Protein, yes, to get down. And this is a foundation. So whenever you're under stress, or your hormones change, your schedule changes, you're going on vacation, or you have a weird week, right? Like this is a holiday week for people. So even if you don't have kids and your kids aren't starting school, it's still kind of an odd week because it's a holiday week. So super easy to get derailed and off track and be like, well, it's already Tuesday night, just a few more days, and then it's the weekend. Might as well wait. I got off track already. The rest of the week is kind of throw the towel in on it, right? No, here we go. These are the things to kind of focus on. So when we talk about protein pacing, and I love this. I could talk about this all day. But essentially, I put this out there for you, and I put the times on here just so you can kind of really visualize and glance at this. Keep this, right here, right top of mind, right in front of everything that you're doing. If you're worried about your energy, when schedules change and your environment changes, especially for your kids, it's important that you're staying fueled, for your metabolism, for your stress levels, all right. I could go on for days about how important this is. But here's basically how this works and how to do this. So you make sure you're getting enough protein in at these times, right? In the podcast, we talk about how much protein and everything else and getting enough protein for your body. But what I find is that people are really missing, especially at snacks, or they'll have like a quick breakfast and be like, oh, I had some toast, or I had 2 eggs, which isn't bad, but it's not sometimes enough protein to really get you fueled for the day. Again, snacks here are not enough protein. And so you're not being fueled throughout the day, and then you're trying to make it up by eating this big dinner, but you're tired here, and then you either overeat here, or you're not eating the right thing, or you're eating too much carb and not enough protein because you just get so dang hungry because everything was paced incorrectly. And again, routine is off a little bit, right? So here we go. So let's say you get up, right? Maybe you go to the gym earlier, maybe you do that after this, whatever that is for you. This is just an example of how to time it out. Now, if you want to shift everything an hour earlier, totally fine. That's actually what's more accurate in terms of my schedule. I shift things earlier. I am normally an early bird. So I love to do this. And again, in the podcast, like, have to listen to it because it's amazing. And there's going to be the Dr. Paul that I interviewed when we talked about some of this stuff. He has a book coming out that he'll be detailing all this information in as well. But this is basically kind of things that I stick to. Schedule changes, stick to this. So breakfast, again, around 7, getting enough protein in, making sure you're getting enough of a snack then by 10. Again, that mid-morning time, it's super easy to get caught up in things. If you're out running errands, if you're out doing things. Now, if you say you're a teacher or say you're a nurse, it's really tough. Oh my gosh, what is the podcast called? The Female Health Solution. So I'll put a link below this video to the podcast itself. I posted it already, but I'll put a link below this just so you guys can scroll down and have a listen. A snack here, and this is really, really important, and really important not to skip, really important not to kind of brush over and just have, I'm just going to have some carrots and hummus. Ooh, it's not bad, right? Like, that's not a bad food to eat, but it's not enough fuel. You need more fuel than that. And then we're talking about lunch here, like around 1 o'clock. So again, like 3 hours later-ish, getting some lunch, some solid, fuel in, a good hearty, meal. And again, another snack. And this is one of those points too, where if you haven't fueled enough here and you're not getting a good snack in here, it's really easy to get tired. It's really easy to feel sluggish and to kind of get distracted, and everything else. And then that will throw off things and you'll overeat and not eat enough, the right foods, the right proteins here at dinner. So this is basically the thing to kind of stick to. It's 7 a.m., 7 p.m., the start and stop time, and then every 3 hours in between. So 10, 1, and 4, having food. Now, again, it doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes I literally just grab, deli turkey from the fridge and eat it, and I'll have, like a rice cake as well with some cucumbers. It doesn't really go together, right? But it's fuel, and I'm getting enough protein in. Do you offer protein ideas in the podcast? So there's a lot of information about protein, types of protein, everything else in that podcast. Yes. So if you're looking for more detail on this, which you probably do need, if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do this, listen to this podcast because it will detail everything out for you beautifully, and really kind of hit home the importance of following through with all of this. But again, when your schedule changes, and again, with kids going back to school, with all these other things shifting and changing, like my schedule's changing, and most moms are like, woo, school's starting, yay, my kid is back in school. I get more time for other things, but before you know it, they're really going to be busier with more things. So this is something that I had to sort of readjust for myself. 'Cause again, my kids aren't really starting till tomorrow, but I'm looking at this being like, okay, my snacks and everything and how I eat is going to be very different because I've been meal prepping for me and the kids, and now it's just going to be going back to me because they're in charge of their lunches this year. Yeah, mom win. Happy dance about that. I'm still going to make sure they get all the healthy stuff, right? I make them have a fruit and a veggie and a protein in there. But again, meal prepping is different for me and it's changing tomorrow. So as I was going through all this stuff, I was like, I want to talk about this. And protein pacing is really what I fall back on. So all these things that I talk about, these are things that I follow. I follow for myself and for my family. And the other thing too is that I love about really focusing on nutrition for women is that women get to learn how their bodies function better. You get to learn how things work better. You get to make progress on your own self and be proactive. But also, so much of this is helpful for your family. Like when you're really focused on getting the right snacks for your kids, it makes a huge difference too. A lot of times, especially that like after school snack time. Now for my kids, one of my kids gets home, like 2:45, or the other ones will be home by 3:30. So it's a little bit different there. But again, having a solid, healthy snack for them that's got enough protein in it so that they're not like I want a bag of chips, blah, blah, blah. Because it's so easy to, to cave and for them to just get that quick energy. So these are helpful things, not just for you, but for your family as well. All right, so that's what I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I will put that podcast link below. I'll also put a link below if you guys have questions and you ever want to chat. I just opened that up to really navigate some things for people. And so and if you found this helpful, share this with somebody else. If you know a friend that's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start because my schedule just got turned upside down, share this video with them and share the podcast with them because it'll be super helpful moving forward so you feel like you got some bearing on staying on track towards your goals so you don't get totally derailed. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys later.